He tried to come in to clean our carpets. The following story, it's a cross-posted comment from a comment I made a long time ago on r/as Reddit, seemingly ages ago. My mom's dog, Punky, rest in peace, was a very sweet, loving dog. She was an emotional support dog, but trained to be a service dog for PTSD before she lost her leg. I had never seen her get aggressive with anyone in the entire 12 years that she lived. She never growled or nipped at anyone, and she had no sense of smell. So, she loved all animals and people. A real gentle giant among our little terriers at 60 pounds. And for the people wondering, that's equals to 27.21 kilograms. And what I'm getting at here was that her barking at something and being aggressive was so wildly uncharacteristic that I only saw it once. With that being said, I must clarify that I am a female, and I had two siblings, one male and one female. And this story happened when I was 11 and my siblings were 6 and 2 respectively. I was at home with my siblings. My then stepdad is at work, and my mom ran up to the gas station to grab a pack of cigarettes. And it was only a mile or two away from us. For reference, we live in a 2-bedroom trailer in the middle of the woods, on a dead-end road at the time, and you had to really make an effort to get down our road, find our house, navigate down our rickety driveway, and find the door. I'm sitting at the computer, having a grand time watching YouTube videos when all of a sudden, all of our dogs, about 2 Boston Terriers and 1 Chihuahua per cup, bark a few times and start investigating down the hall. My siblings were napping in the bedroom at the end of the hall at the time, so I figured that they stir and scare the dogs. But then, Punky sits up suddenly, stands up on the couch, and puffs her chest out. Her ears are perked up, her fur standing on end, her tail straight up, and then she barks. Super loudly. I mean, the bark booms through the living room and echoes around, and all of a sudden she lunges off the couch and goes tearing down the hallway. I'm already on edge because I don't think I've ever heard her bark. Ever. She's a Basenji mix, so her bark is more of a baying sound, but this was a big, loud, alert bark. I stand up and I go to look down the hallway, ready to fight off what I'm assuming is a shadow monster in the hallway, based on how the dogs are acting. But then, I hear it. We didn't get visitors because of how weird our house was location-wise, so my 11-year-old mind had no clue what to do here. The only people who showed up here were family, and they didn't knock, so I slowly walked towards the door. The knock drew the attention of the dogs, and they came running back down the hallway, all except for Punky, and I felt better with our 3 yappy dogs in the room with me, even if they were all the size of New York City sewer rats. I opened the door just a bit, and standing on our porch is the sketchiest man I think I've ever seen. I can still picture him perfectly. He was really thin. A tall man with dark hair and a sunken face, bags under his eyes, and his half-managed hair, sort of like he gave it a quick brush and then figured it was good enough. Everything about him seemed just a little bit too thin, a little too shallow, and his clothes were all off too. They were nice, but fake nice. You know what I mean? Like a clean, newer looking t-shirt and new jeans, but he had what looked like a suit jacket on. All his clothes were dark too, despite the fact that it was summer in Texas and the weather was definitely into the hundreds that day. He also had this plain unlabeled bottle in his hand. It looked like the label had been covered up and tapped over. I stare up at him in confusion because I definitely don't know this man, and I ask him what he wants. He smiles at me in this way that's way too fake, like this exaggerated and forced grin, and he spoke in the same voice retail workers do. Hey there, kiddo. I'm trying to sell this here carpet cleaner. He shakes the bottle at me. Mind if I come in to show you how good it works? Alarms are going off in my head because it just seems so off. Looking back with an adult perspective, the fact that he didn't ask if my parents were home is unnerving because he probably knew they weren't, and that's why he was here in the first place. I should have just told him to get off our property, that I would have to get my mom, something except that I didn't say. Something except what I did say, but I didn't. Instead, I just shook my head and said, no, we don't have carpet. Oh, well, it works on other things. And he took a big step towards the door and shook the bottle at me. I start to freak out and think to close the door, but the thing is, our front door didn't even lock. Small town, hard to access home. We never needed a lock. So that's basically useless. I'm sure there's something very wrong about to happen, and I'm terrified as I think about what to do in the few seconds I think I have before it does happen, when all of a sudden I hear it. Punky had crept up from the hallway, lower towards the ground, with her teeth bared and snarling like she was feral. She had slobber just dripping from her mouth. Her ears were down, and she was ready to pounce. The guy hears it too, and as I look towards Punky, she tries to lunge past me, and I just barely catch her with my leg as she tries her hardest to duck past me and attack this guy. He freaks out and runs off the porch without another word, booking it down the driveway as I let Pucky out along with the rest of our dogs, and they start chasing him. Our small dogs chase him down the driveway and stop about halfway, barking and jumping about, but Pucky stops just on the porch and watches him with her ears perked, just staring in the distance until he disappears. I swear I saw someone join up with him running when he got onto the road. The second he disappeared, Punky's entire body language changed, and she went back to being the sweet dog I knew. No barking or growling, just laying around, mouth and throat covered in slobber still. I realize my siblings are still down the call, and I run to check on them. And when I get to the bedroom, my siblings were sleeping soundly still. But the bedroom window was wide open, the curtains pushed all to one side, and the items on the dresser in front of the window all shoved around. Someone had tried to climb through the window. No doubt in my mind about it. From what I can gather, the bedroom window was visible from the couch where Punky was sleeping. So, I think someone was trying to climb through the window before Punky went after them and scared them off. And the man at the door was meant to distract me. They definitely didn't expect Punky, a bigger dog, because most of the time she was with my mom inside while our small dogs were the ones who saw public eye more often. I don't know what they intended to do, but after my mom got home, she took all of us to my aunt's house, and on our way there, we saw the man walking up someone else's driveway. Men plural, because we watched a second one split off to wait by the road. So, to the two men apparently going door to door to sell their unlabeled carpet cleaner, I'd rather not meet again. And as for my dog Punky, she was kind of medium sized and she was black and white. The most important characteristic of her was that her eyes were totally straight and she had a mask of black and white in her eyes. You know, the usual. Two big black marks covering the eyes. In fact, so that you can have an idea of what Punky looks like, here's a real photo of her licking a lollipop without a single care in the world. For the people listening but not watching, she has two large spots on each eye, therefore it kind of resembles a mask. You will see that she's got erect ears, always still like a tall tree, proving that she's a mix of a Basenji, like the author described. The following gallery was provided by the author. These photos are real, just like the story you just heard. It is for this very reason that I would like to give Punky a proper tribute by taking a solemn look at this tiny gallery of real photos of this particularly heroic dog. Please enjoy while the music plays.